Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and The Sims 4 Growing Together has been out for about a couple of weeks, I don't know. Time is non-existent right now, and that means we're starting to see a couple of mods pop up for Growing Together that were made specifically either for the expansion or for the pre-expansion patch that came out, including infants. And so today I thought I would run you through some of those mods. Some of these are actually things that I've talked about in my early access, in my reviews, things that I would like to see. Others I genuinely hadn't even thought of, and so I'm excited to explore them all with you. So the very first one is honestly the biggest one that I have seen so far. It's by the one and only lumpinou. They actually created a memory system mod that I basically had in my game up until Growing Together came out, up until we got official milestones in the game, and of course they've taken it one step further and just made milestones even better. So this is the milestones expanded mod. It does require Growing Together. Like I said, there is already like a memories and milestones mod that lumpinou has made previous to Growing Together, so if you want to go get your hands on that, I'll have like a card up in the top corner so you can go check out my overview of that. But what does this mod do? It adds over 50 custom milestones to the game. Some of them are able to be retroactive, which we love. It also further develops game behavior on some EA milestones. It adds the place of birth to born milestone, separates ended a relationship into 2 milestones for breakups and 1 for divorces. So basically it's just diving in deeper to your Sims history and everything that they've been through in life. Adds world and lot of marriage to the married milestone, which I think world already existed, but the lot is definitely new. Also adds moodlets that differ depending on its first time something happens, are a recurrent time. It also adds social bunny posts. This is something that's really nice. I was kind of expecting social bunny to kind of do more when it came to milestones, and this is basically just an image showing like a lot of stuff that can happen. Lost custody of children, won custody of children. I'm fairly sure this is probably dependent on like another mod. Parents got separated, so if you do go through a divorce, dropped out of university, lost a parent, which honestly I am shocked that this wasn't a milestone. I will say this mod is currently in early access. It's available on lumpinou's Patreon, but it is going to be available for public access on April the 15th. So this is pretty much a brand new save, and we just kind of have like all the retrofitted EA milestones so far. So we have first woohoo, we have the 2 babies, fell in love with Ollie and got married to Ollie. They live in San Sequoia, so it's tagged as San Sequoia. So those 2 woohooed, and whilst she technically didn't get a milestone for woohooing with Ollie for the first time, I don't know if that's just because like the game already thought that they had probably woohooed. I mean, they do have kids together, so that would definitely make sense. We do have the option to make a new social bunny post about it, which I don't know if I would want to be airing my dirty laundry in that way, but first woohoo ever. Woohooing for the first time in your life is not something you easily forget, whether it went well or not, whether it was out of love or curiosity. This was Babs's first time ever and shall be remembered as such. We can do a flirty message. Now, I know what it is that you all talk about. Winky face. Ayo. Let's go major, guitar, and then 10, and then hit enter. He actually gets level 10 in his guitar skill because I did just cheat it. And hopefully, yep, he's got a new milestone from that one. Mastered a musical instrument. It unfortunately doesn't tell you which instrument they mastered. I would kind of like that. I think that's like my biggest feedback when it comes to just like milestones in general, is the fact that I wish all of them were just like a bit more specific. Definitely seeing a little bit of issues when it comes to like knowing your first names and their pronouns, but this is a mod, it's still in development, it's still very early on. Confident narrative. I kind of wish again that there were maybe a couple more things. Maybe they're going to be added in the future. I don't like, maybe like an excited one. I can't remember if like excited is a thing that you can have in here. Maybe for first ever woohoo, instead of just having flirty, you could maybe have like sad or like embarrassed moodlet tied to it if it didn't go so well. Next up, we have another lumpinou mod. This is actually to add or remove any milestones using a quick little cheat with this mod in any age, present or past. All you have to do is click on the sim that you are controlling. So for this case, it is Ollie, and then you go to actions and you can manage memories / milestones, or you can just go on to manage milestones. This is probably the one I'm going to use. So you can add milestone to his current age. He is a young adult, I'm fairly sure. You can remove milestones, add milestones for past age child, add them for infants, teen, or toddler. So let's go for teen. For example, you can do abducted by aliens, pristine reputation, acquired a business, adopted, beat Greg in a fight. If you just want to add more to your backstory of your sim, obviously these just generate from the age that your sim was. So he currently doesn't have any teenage milestones. I'll scroll through, but we'll go for like celebrated or birthday or something. Crumplebottom defeated the mother plant, dropped out of high school. We're gonna say that Babs and Ollie were together from being teenagers. So let's go for started a romantic relationship. You have the little like chime that plays, but if we go to teenager now, boom, Ollie entered a new relationship. And again, like I said, you can remove those specific milestones as well. You can wipe all of them if you want to start fresh. And finally, we have the last one of lumpinous. This is actually a little tweak mod, which is very, very good for those of you who are currently having science babies in your game. This actually offers you an in-game choice of pregnancy, or like EA already does it, having an instant baby whilst having a science baby. I basically described the thought process as to why I think EA didn't make people pregnant and why they instantly just come home with a baby in their arms. I think that's because not everyone will have played within the gender settings of Create a Sim, and they kind of just want everyone to be able to have a science baby depending on gender or the custom gender options that you may have chosen. I'm actually really interested to see how this is going to work, because I don't think that Ollie has the option to like get pregnant within Create a Sim. We can definitely hop into Create a Sim to like double check that. So currently it's set to get others pregnant, but I'm kind of wanting to see if you actually send him to go have a science baby, can you still have the option of choosing to have an instant baby or get pregnant, even though his gender options aren't actually aligned with that? Okay, so I think if you maybe don't play with the gender options, it still comes up with just having an instant baby. Nope, it comes up afterwards. My bad. Would you like to have a pregnancy if possible, or to have an instant baby? Let's choose pregnancy and see what happens. Congratulations, Ollie is expecting. There's gonna be a new addition to this household. He is fully pregnant. It didn't depend on just like his gender settings. It actually just overrode those gender settings. And boom, we have a baby on the way. Second trimester is in 19 hours. One thing I would still love to see when it comes to science babies in The Sims 4, and I don't know if this is possible for modders, I don't know if this is like a little bit like of me asking for too much, but I really, really wish that you could decide who was like the parent and who just like maybe wanted to be called like a donor, or maybe just like science parent, and then you could still choose like mother or father. Right now in the game, the person that you choose to have a science baby with will always be referred to as the parent, and that's on the family tree as well as in like relationship panels. And that means that like, say if you have another parent, they'll be considered the step parent, and they actually can't adopt a child because in that game, in the game's coding, that child already has two parents, and you can't have more than two parents in the game. Then again, we have two pretty small mods, but definitely something very interesting that I think you lot are gonna like. So first of all, these are by adeepindigo, and we have the best hug ever, unlocked hug from Growing Together. Ooh. I'm not used to seeing GRT, but it makes sense because like growing together, get together, they're both GT. I just read this as get wrecked together. For all teen Sims and up who have positive relationship with targeted child in their family. Basically, the best hug ever interaction is the interaction you see after a kid learns to ride a bike if they have someone helping them, where they celebrate and they like pick them up and spin them around and then give them a really big hug. It's such a cute interaction. This is actually available within the game without teaching a kid to ride a bike, which I didn't realize. But the one and only Iron Seagull down here took Dave's tweet, which said, you'll see this when celebrating learning how to ride a bike, but if you have over 90 relationship and have the caring family dynamic, or you have over 90 relationship and have the family oriented trait, you can actually choose that as an interaction itself. It's just under friendly. We're gonna have little grandpa over here do the best hug ever. So we go to friendly, affection, and then you have the best hug ever unlocked from the get-go. It's not tied behind any of those things that we talked about, and then it's the same interaction that they do, like picking them up, hugging them. I think this is so cute. I'm so sad that this is like tied behind so many specific things. And then there's also less infant hovering, which pretty much says what it does on the tin. Spend a little less time checking and watching infants. I feel like this is a nerf that all of us have wanted to see since infants have arrived. I know infants are demanding in real life, but when you're trying to play The Sims, it's just like, come on, you don't need to check on them every 5 minutes. This one I am so glad about. I actually didn't even realize this before I hopped onto Twitter after like early access and saw surelysims tweeting about this along with a bunch of other simmers, and it's the fact that the tree houses are actually only green. So even if you have seasons installed, because it is just an object, they haven't added like any other swatches to it. So if you're in the middle of like autumn and all the trees around you are going like red and brown, your treehouse will stay green, which like fair enough, some trees are evergreen, but not these types of trees. So surelysims has gone in and created the slightly nicer treehouse. Since realizing how blurry the texture on this treehouse was, I've badly wanted to fix it up. I adjusted the UVs to use the space better and hand painted some new textures for the tree trunk and sign. I also cleaned up and sharpened the textures on the wood planks on the main tree hut. After everything, I think she looks really neat. I also added a smattering of new leaf colors so it's more versatile and cute. We're definitely gonna hop into build and buy mode, grab ourselves a cheeky little treehouse. Apparently we don't have enough money for it, so let me do a few cheeky mother loads. Oh, this was apparently a default replacement, but it hasn't replaced my growing together one, so I still do have the option of like the growing together one available, and then this is the custom content one, so I actually want to see the differences. So we're gonna have to remember, you have like a darker green, and again there's another green, then you have the green with some white flowers on it, you have your autumn tree, you have more of a reddish orange tone, and then you have super red leaves if you want. You also have a cherry blossom, and then there's also like a bare bones one if you want this tree house in winter. They've kind of been smoothed out a bit, I guess. Like this texture is way more like bumpy and pixelated, whereas we go over to this one, it's still a little bit pixelated, but it doesn't look like quite as bumpy. It definitely just looks like it's been smoothed. So slight texture updates, but I mean, the most important thing to me is definitely this fitting in with like the wider area. This is one I know a ton of you are gonna be very glad about, and this is the Goodbye Infant Carpet. I know a lot of you who haven't got your hands on growing together are probably so pissed off by this little mat. It basically spawns under your infant whenever you put them down, but if you don't have growing together, you can't like do tummy time on the mat whatsoever, and I just think it looks like more realistic if infants don't forever just have a mat underneath them. We are gonna adopt ourselves an infant, so little Cleo over here, because I do actually want to see the no infant like mat or carpet mod in action. I'm not gonna show off the infant hovering one because I just feel like that's something that you're gonna definitely see in like the background. So here we have, where is little Cleo. And again, she was definitely on the street for a little bit and there wasn't a mat underneath her. Let's go put Cleo down over here and hopefully no carpet will spawn. Thank you very much. Our infants can now freeze outside without having a little mat underneath them. And she's only been in here 2 seconds, but we have yet to check on the infant. We're just talking with her, which I feel like checking was the thing that was overriding everything and the thing that was really reminding me of Sims 3 horses, with like your Sims just being so enamored with an infant that they constantly just wanted to check on them, and it overrid everything, and it was just terrible for gameplay and queuing and simulation lag. So there we go, there's some mods to help us all grow together. This expansion pack has fully turned me into a dad, including terrible dad jokes, but I hope this video was helpful. Big shout out to all of the creators, all of these mods mentioned. I will have a link to these mods in my description down below if you want to check any of them out. Honestly, these creators have thought of so many different things. Like I said at the beginning, I'm sure these are just gonna continue. So if after this video there are any mods that you think that I would like, that you would maybe like me to check out on the channel, or you just think is gonna help my gameplay, I would definitely love to hear all of those. If you are planning on getting your hands on any of these, definitely let me know. But thank you modders for thinking of things that I didn't even think of whilst I was playing the game, and for consistently making my game smoother and better. I cannot thank you enough. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.